to me on my weekly show, Curiosity, which completed 1 year, 2 weeks back. In my second year, I am back with a brand new show, where I discover how the world was before I was born. I'm Summer Chitta. This is 2021 and I am 9 years old. Sometimes I wonder how the world was before I was born. Were mobile phones always this smart? Why did people and countries have to fight for their freedom? And did my parents also play the same games as I do now? You want to find out? Let's go! These days, if we have to get from one place to another, over the ocean, transcontinental, or even from one city to another, the most reasonable way of doing it is by a plane. Even I, whenever I have to go to my grandparents' house, always take a plane to Hyderabad. We can choose from different airlines of our choice, book tickets online, check in online before our flight or at the self-serve counter in the airport, and show our boarding pass on the phone. In some international airports, such as Singapore Changi Airport, the whole process has to be done on our own. That seems like a lot of work, but also, it's kind of interesting. But do you know that air travel was not like this? Back in the day when I was not born, there was one airline in India and many parts of the world. Yes, just one. Only the government was allowed to manage air travel until 1991. So if you had to fly within the country, there was Indian Airlines. And for international travel, there was Air India. The first ever airline in India was Tata Air Service, which was an airmail service founded in 1932. By 1938, the airline was renamed to Tata Airline, which was flying a few domestic routes. After India's independence in 1947, Tata Airways was renamed as Air India, and in 1950, it took its first international flight from Mumbai to London. There were a few smaller airlines, but in 1953, the government took control over all the airlines and created two airlines, Indian Airlines and Air India. This was the case till 1991, and not only was there one airline, the process of flying was also very, very difficult. Firstly, you had to book your tickets and you could not do it online. Airline tickets could be issued only by the airline or by some authorized agents. And you had to either call them or you had to go up to the office and fill up the form and wait in line. The ticket that was given to you was like a small booklet which had the flight details, seat number, etc. written by hand. If you called an agent, the ticket was sent by post and you would receive it after a few days. I will be leaving some images of these tickets in my show notes and my Instagram channel. Tickets were also booked days, if not months in advance. The concept of buying a few hours before the flight schedule time was unheard of. Once you had the ticket, you would go to the airport. And since there was only one airline, most cities had airports inside the city and they were much smaller. For example, Bengaluru, where I live, used to have an airport in the middle of the city and not 30 kilometers away like we currently do. Also, there used to be only one runway, and it was very common for families to come in large numbers to see off people before taking the flight. Seeing a flight up and close was a very rare opportunity, and nobody wanted to miss it. And once they came to the airport, they could easily come till the gate and see you get into the plane. Or if they they were coming to receive you, you could meet them right outside the gate. Wow, I can't even imagine such a thing now. Boarding passes were always printed, and you needed a physical boarding pass to board the plane. So if you went to the bathroom and forgot your ticket and boarding pass, you could not board the plane. And once you were inside the plane, food was always provided. You did not need to pay or pre-book your meals. Also, they were as big as a normal meal that you get on flights these days. The flight prices itself could also not go up or down. They were fixed if you booked months in advance or you booked on the last day. On international flights, there used to be no seat-back entertainment. If you wanted to watch something, you had to watch it on the screens the plane had, and you couldn't decide what you wanted to watch. Also, you could not bring your own laptops on board as it was not invented then. So if you don't want to watch the movie on the TV, you either got to sleep or read a book. And when did this all change in India? It was in 1991 when the government allowed private companies to operate airlines. Some of the very first private airlines were Jet Airways, Sahara Airways, Modi Luft, and a few others. Here, other international airlines such as Lufthansa came in the market. Lufthansa invested in Modi Luft, which later on became SpiceJet. One airline, Air Deccan, used to offer a ticket for 1 rupee or $0.0014 fares for any route. For example, you could fly from Bangalore to Delhi, which is 2,175.8 kilometers, for just 1 rupee. A limited number of seats were made available at ₹1 for any sector, and a lot of people flew for the first time through Air Deccan. Their motto was simplify. I'm amazed at the different experience of flying before I was born. What did you think of my episode? Did you like it? If you did, please do leave a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. It'll help my podcast reach to more people. Before I say sayonara, I just want to leave you with a few facts about planes and airlines. What did you think is the dirtiest part of the plane? If you thought of the toilet, I'm sorry, but you're wrong. It is the tray table that we eat on. Yes, that we eat on. I'm just horrifically disgusted right now. And when and who was the first ever aircraft invented by? It was invented by the Wright brothers back in 1905. Also, the top 10 countries with the highest number of passenger air traffic is the United States of America, number 1. Number 2, China. Number 3, Ireland. Number 4, India. Number 5, UK. Number 6, Japan. Number 7, Russia. Number 8, Turkey. And number 9, Germany. And last but not least, number 10, Brazil. Stay safe and Jai Hind from Kidasari.